So first of all, thank you very much for this question. I may have a technical question to those who have loaded a small presentation here of 2-3 slides. Would it be possible maybe to show that one? In fact, yes, the food industry, and I will start maybe to dive into our operations to give you a kind of a blend of what this is all about, where we as a food industry, and we are part of the world food system, yes, can really make a difference. And this all goes into either to help farmers, producers of raw materials, to boost their outcome, or also, on the other end, to make sure that we reduce considerably the food waste. It's on the first page.
I'm trying to pull it up. I'm a little technically challenged.
And you have probably seen over the last few years a lot of papers being developed on food waste. And it's incredible if you're diving deep into how much food we are wasting all over. And I have 2 graphs, hopefully we can make it to show you. Yes, I may move to that slide here if you allow me.
That's Windows.
Okay.
No one from Microsoft.
Okay. Is that the one?
Yes, is that the one? Yeah. So, anyhow, hopefully it will work. This is, I'm not so sure. So, in fact, avoiding food wastage. This is. Let's say, I'm trying to dive into this part of the value chain also, and showing you a little bit, what many of you already know. But it's always good to have a kind of a starting point where we have the same baseline. So, here on this slide, we see that in fact we are producing already today, and these are figures out of about 5 years back, enough food, and this is about 4,600 calories for 7 billion people. Okay? We do have that production systems in place worldwide, but if you're looking at how much is really reaching the plate, this is about 2,000 calories for eventually 6 billion people. So there's still 1 billion people roughly missing out on this one. And now we have also to understand where we have really this makeup of the food waste. And you see clearly that in certain geographies, like in the Western world, US, UK, we are mainly wasting on food services and home and municipal parts, whereas in the developing world, specifically here on the continent in Africa, it's more on-farm transport and processing. So that is then where you as a food company have to look into, okay, now what do we do specifically? And what do we do specifically is to look into an operation where in fact you are transforming something like 14 million tons of perishable raw materials into safe and nutritious food for consumers like you and me. This is what we do. So this is the approach of looking into these value chains and looking how you can avoid really to have this waste, and understanding exactly where this waste is being produced. Because by the end you want to have access to affordable and everywhere available food of high nutrition. And as I said, affordable means that it has to match somehow the purchasing power of consumers. Now let us look into what we do by avoiding this waste. In a program we have in our supply chains that is called Farmer Connect, where we are working together with about 720,000 farmers around the world. And we have developed very specific tools and instruments. We call that value stream mapping, where in fact you see, you take a raw material, you look into the entire value chain, to the fork, to the point of sales, and where you're looking into where do you add value from a societal, from an environmental, and from also an economical point of view, and where do you have no value added or waste activities, because you do not provide an added value to consumers by the end. And by doing this, what you see is, wow, you can eliminate a lot. By doing this in a very, very specific way on all the supply chains we have worldwide, we're able to translate this, for instance, helping farmers to avoid milk losses, where in fact we have today 0.6% of all the fresh milks being taken into a Nestle factory, where we have fresh milk sourcing, 0.6% of losses. This is probably best in class. So it can be done, and the tools and the practices are out there. And there is no one who has an intellectual proprietary right on that. We can disseminate, we can help, we can share, we can even help training people to do that. And that is also being applied, to other things when working together with farmers. And it is, in fact, I have heard, you have mentioned about innovation. Mm-hmm. What I would say is, in fact, it's not about innovation, it's about fixing the basics. Mm-hmm. We have so much know-how and knowledge already available. Mm-hmm. And we could close this gap by really using the right information, the right technology, having the right knowledge in place. But what is missing, and that is the reason why we have to work together, is that on the farm, in the red zone, as I showed you on my previous slide, we have a lot of people who simply don't know the trick. They have never gone to a primary school. They have never been exposed to a vocational training, and that is the reason why they don't know how to avoid these losses. And I think that is one of the main topics I wanted to share maybe later on with you, because we have tremendously, if we're looking into resilience into worldwide food systems, we have neglected on one principal topic. And this is primary education in rural areas. You know that this was a principle elaborated, I think, in 2000, the UN Global Compact, second principle. And most of the development agencies and also the governments, they have not taken this serious. Because, as I said to a colleague here, I think it was not written primary education in urban centers only. And that is exactly one of the biggest reasons we cannot deploy technology if people do not understand what they do with these technologies. Here again, this proactive long engagement and partnership on food wastage is, I think, the only way now really to elaborate a kind of an alignment, and I fully agree with what I would call it a goal alignment. Mm-hmm. And I'm happy to announce that 2 days ago in Rome, there was a kind of also a goal alignment on the UN Global Compact Business Principles on Agriculture, on Sustainable Agriculture. I don't know, have you heard about that one? Yes? Mm-hmm. Who knows? Mm-hmm. It's good to say, because a lot of people don't know yet. So maybe you will give me, Chair, 2 minutes later on to elaborate a little bit, because this goal alignment is extremely important, that we have really a direction where we can all join in and where we can all share our good insights to disseminate really these good practices and to go with a kind of a basic setting of know-how transfer to everybody along the value chain. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.